is all of you, baby, baby. Nothing less than that will do, baby, baby. You take me higher, higher, higher. You set my soul on fire, fire, baby. You get me like no one before, yeah. You don't need me, but you want me more and more. Something I adore, and I know, I'm sure, I feel with you. So just say, you'll stay, I'm yours, babe. It's true. You take me. All I want is all of you, baby, baby. Nothing less than that will do, baby, baby. You take me higher, higher, higher. You set my soul on fire, fire, baby. You get me like no one before, yeah. You don't need me, but you want me more and more. It's true. You take me. You take me higher, 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 baby. You set my soul on fire, fire, baby. You take me higher, 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 baby. You set my soul on fire,
All right, everybody, Hefe here. Decided to do a little stream today. We had a recent announcement. There's been a lot of chatter about coin strikes. I don't know, state of the game. I just feel like kind of time to hop on here and just give a little talk about my feelings. You know how I love to share my feelings. So yeah, just talk a little bit about some of the state of affairs and what's going on here in the game. And I've got a lot of questions from people and, you know, whispers and people asking me questions. What do I think? Been reviewing the COINSTRIKE Discord, all the different, you know, chat rooms and people talking about it. So I figured, you know what, make it a lot easier and just hop on here and do a little call. We'll do a little hanging with the hose, old school style, hanging with Hefe here now. Towards the end here, I'm going to go through you see the list here on the left-hand side. I'm going to talk a little bit about the last dev call, as well as go through the COINSTRIKE reactions, mine specifically, not from any particular viewpoint other than mine. You know, I'm certainly not speaking for the hose, not speaking for HMB. I'm not speaking for Aptoid anymore, or Ebony for that matter. So just want to give you my thoughts, some things to think about. And certainly I do support the COINSTRIKE. We've done these in the past, and I think they are a little bit of effective, but I'll go into all that when I get there. And then, of course, this experience interview invitation that some of us got today. Talk a little bit about that. I don't know a ton about that other than, I am part of that Facebook group already. So anyway, we'll talk a little bit about that too. So without further ado, and then I'm going to ask you guys if you want to join up. You're certainly any of the hoes that want to join up, lovingly known as the hoes. You guys can certainly join on the voice channel, and eventually here I'll join that channel, and we can get you on, get your thoughts, and have you talk a little bit about your reactions to some of these things as well, because certainly we can all listen to what I think, but at the end of the day, this is a big community. We all have different experiences, different, ideas of what might and might not work. So anyway, without further ado, let's jump right in. And really nothing other than, you can look at my pretty keep here, sitting around while we're watching and listening to me yammer. There's actually not a whole lot that I'm going to be showing in game, but I figured instead of looking at a blank screen, we would bebop around there a little bit. Maybe watch our team run some bosses. But anyway, one of the things I didn't do, and I'm going to do after this, you should be able to see it. Let's start in right now on that post dev call, the previous one that we had done. And now keep in mind, this dev call was done a year ago. The dev call itself was done post K45 release, right? So everyone, just to set the expectations here a little bit, there was a lot of new things implemented when they did K45. Obviously the keep upgrade, obviously there was new buildings, there was new features, there was new bosses that started to come out. There was a lot of things going on in game. A lot of people were upset about it. Some people left, some people stuck with it. But what they ended up doing was that they put out this dev call. They wanted everybody to sit down and talk about it. So they did a similar, invite as they done last time. This one a little strange to me. They're calling it a interview invitation, so I'm not sure if the format's going to be the same. The last one was a Zoom call. I will put out in the comments or down in the description below, I will add the link to the previous dev call that I actually participated in. There was a number of people on there that did a nice job to go through and give feedback and try to provide direction. Some of you might have seen it. If you haven't, I'd encourage you to go back and take a look at that and listen to that and try to really listen to what they were saying, what we were saying as a community, and then try to think about some of the comments I'm going to go through here today, and keep an open mind that, possibly Ebony actually did listen. They actually did, implement quite a few things that we were all looking for. Not exactly what you all want, but they did do what they could. I think, in my opinion, they are trying. Now, are they going to give things away? No, but I think they did make some meaningful changes. So without further ado, you'll remember Quinlan was the guy that instead of Elena was put to the test. All of us screaming and angry people that had alts taken and K45 pushes and all the other things that they were going to have to do, upset and ideas. And so anyway, I encourage you again, go back and listen to that call. Check that out. It'll be down in the description after this call. I'll get that added, but of course I wasn't organized to do it beforehand. But anyway, so during that call, there was a number of things that at the beginning of the call, Quinlan went through a list. He had a list, I'm assuming an Excel spreadsheet. We've all seen it. There was an Excel spreadsheet they used to provide. And then they gave us feedback on what they were going to do, how long they planned to before they made those changes. And I wanted to step through some of those items that they had on that list. So one of the first things that they added when they released K45 was Council Estate. Well, Council Estate, originally, there was a couple people on the call that were, this is bad and it's useless and there aren't any things that I'm going to be able to use, and it's for heavy coiners that have all the BOA and the bloody areas to be able to, level these generals, and, all these different attitudes basically about what it was and how bad it was, right? Well, what I did, I want to give you an idea of And a number of us actually said, no, I don't think that that's true. I think it's a good ad. It's not a thing that you're going to out of the gate be able to take full advantage of, but you can certainly grind it out. So many of us felt like it was a good thing. So one of the things we told them was BOA is hard to get. The blood of Aries, the actual reagent that you need to upgrade those generals, was difficult to get. So we basically said we need more ways to get it. Well, I think if you think back to the last year, we've had a number of wheel things, a number of events. Certainly there's always been things to purchase, but there's also blood of Aries dropping on certain bosses. You're able to grind it out. So basically, I think we're at the point now with most people, whether you're a free-to-play player, you're a mid-sized spender, or you're one of those big whale spenders, you've got a number of generals now that you're able to put in and get some of those buffs. Now, granted, a 5-star general that's not 10 stars doesn't give you a ton. But if you consider what they've done and what they've added into these generals or into the Senate is now there's 6 slots. I think it's 6, isn't it? Yeah, 6 slots that you can provide and put generals in to get these upgrades, right? So, they certainly have added a lot of opportunity. Now, do you get it for free? No. Do you get some things for free and is a slow grind to get those generals maxed out? Yeah. But you can use tavern generals. There's a number of these generals, and that's why I stuck some of these tavern generals in here to show you. You can actually level these generals up, get a number of copies of them, and actually apply that blood of Aries. So it's not something you have to do to purchase packs. Yes, you're not going to be able to get it out of the gate, but they certainly have added a lot of ways to get blood of Aries. So in my opinion, they answered the call there and listened. So this one I think is a win for everyone. Agree or disagree, that's my opinion. So next thing they talked about was Hell Vikings. So what was our big complaint previously was there's not enough gold. We don't have enough gold in the game. We can't get our research done. It's just way too big of an expense. And people that were buying packs certainly are going to have enough gold to do it. But everybody was trying to find ways and things to do that they could get additional gold. So they added Hell Vikings. Well, as you know, Hell Vikings is kind of a waste of time. It doesn't actually give you many more rewards. It didn't really scale with how difficult those Vikings were. So there was a lot of complaints talked about in there. Now, fast forward to a year from then, and where are we at now? We've got knights on the map all the time. We've got goblins on the map all the time. So they're no longer just event bosses. They're there and willing to be hit. Now, I will tell you, we as an alliance do them regularly. And as you can see by my gold, I'm maxed MA9. I've spent all the gold I can there, and I still have 118 billion gold. That's a lot of gold, right? So, to say that they haven't provided a way to get gold, now granted, I do some spending. I get some of my gold from there, but I will tell you that if you look at some of my inventory here, let's see if I can remember where they all are. Yeah, piles of gold. All this gold up here that I haven't even opened up is gold that I'm waiting to open up. So it's just excess gold. So we obviously have been given a number of ways to earn that gold. And the main thing is these knights on the board. If you're not doing them in as alliance, you're missing out. Simple as that. There's so much gold out there. Goblins you can do on a regular basis. As you're going around, I would encourage you to just bookmark those and do them. So gold was, in my opinion, again, solved by Ebony. Pie Witches is another one. Those have been now added to the map. Again, more and more things keep getting added so that you have more ways to grind out the reagents that you need. That also includes resources, comes from Pie Witches. Knights have some resources. I mean, all of these things really do have ways to get gold. So again, I believe that they did that one. Hunting privilege was another thing they talked about. Now, hunting privilege hasn't changed since they added it. We suggested they, double the number of privileges. Instead of 350, go it up to 500 and drop the price to $5. More people will buy it. Well, they didn't do that, but some people took advantage of that. And I realize not everybody's going to want to spend that money on the privilege. But if you consider all the bosses you're doing, I think every boss counts for privilege except the pans. I think pans don't. But that's another way to get additional resources as you're doing bosses. So for your limited time, you can get online and do those bosses, use that privilege and get additional resources. A couple of the other things that they talked about or didn't talk about, but just a real quick review of what things have been added. One of the things we talked about was a way to have more battlefields and more interactions with teammates that aren't necessarily our normal team. So they added the COC Battlefield, Clash of Civilizations server-wide team put together, goes up against 7 other servers and, battle it out for a bunch of points. A whole bunch of complex rules and ways to get points and such. A lot of fun. I would encourage you all to try it. But again, not huge rewards. But again, another added battlefield that allowed you to do more than the normal things that we were all set up to do. So again, Ebony trying to do things and respond to what I would say is our requests. Huns all the time is now out there to do that. You can look up your buddies and hop on Huns and play that. I mean, personally, I don't do it a whole lot, but it definitely is out there, something to do. So again, when you go back and review that dev call, just think about where the state of the game was when K45 released, and then where we are right now with the game, and how many things have been added and responded to. Did they add everything exactly the way you want it? No. Does everybody have full Civ gear at this point? No. Do you have ways that you can get Civ gear that's grindable? Yeah, you do. You've got the Alliance boss, right? If you aren't taking advantage of that Alliance boss to get Civ gear, and it's a Cake 10 Civ gear piece, then you're doing something wrong. I mean, there's just so many of these things that if you're willing to put the time in, there's a way to get it. In most cases, I'm not saying everything's that way. So don't get me wrong. Ebony is going to make their money. They want to encourage you to spend money and try to get as much money out of you. But again, you don't have to do that. T1 traps are a huge thing, right? You can still play the game in a different way than some of the whales and some of the big teams, but you've got an opportunity to do some things and have some fun, say in SVS, kill event, or just, bombing around on your server. So to say that the game hasn't changed and Ebony doesn't ever make changes that are helpful, I think is just wrong. Now, people are going to call me a fanboy. They're going to, oh, Hefe, he just, he's talking the corporate talk here. He's just trying to, get it in with Ebony. I don't know what you're going to say, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to give you another perspective. I don't necessarily think everything they're doing is perfect. By all means, it isn't. And I'm going to get into that a little bit on this COINSTRIKE and talk a little bit more about that in detail. But that's kind of my thoughts on that post dev call review. I would definitely encourage you to go back and listen to it. There's a number of folks on there that had some really good ideas. We're very patient with Quinlan. You got to remember, there's one person that's getting hammered by 30 or 40 people trying to give him all these ideas, and they probably all hated him. So I think it's a good on them that they actually gave the opportunity to do it, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this interview call coming up. So we'll get more into that when we get to that. But so that's the dev call. COINSTRIKE. Okay. I am not speaking for HMB. I'm not speaking for the hose. I'm not speaking for anybody but El Hefe here. So what I will tell you out of the gate here is I absolutely 100% support the COINSTRIKE. Okay. Does that mean that I'm never going to spend during the COINSTRIKE? Probably not going to be the case. I might grab a pan thing because I'm doing a lot of pans. I might, spend here and there, but I'm certainly not spending at the level that I generally would for events. So all on board, don't need anything. I'm happy with where I'm at. Let's do it. Let's try to get at least some awareness around it. So COINSTRIKE for me is a huge thing. I think it's a great idea. One of the complaints I've got, or some people, I started to complain a little bit about the demands, which I think in a sense is just the wrong way to approach it. I don't think that we're in any position to necessarily demand anything. Now, a lot of you just jumped out of your chair and said, well, I pay money and I buy all these packs and I do all these things. I'm spending a lot of money to get this account. And do they realize what my VIP is? And I'm owed this and I'm owed that. Well, I am really sorry that you did that and didn't have the awareness that they actually own the game. It's a free game to play. You signed the TOS, you logged into the game and you started purchasing stuff. At that point, it is what it is. It's their game, right? So when we're approaching these things as demands, I just don't feel like that's right out of the gate. We put them on the defense, right? Why would they want to come talk to you about demands? And then let's just quickly go through the 6 demands that I saw on the Discord. Restore all banned accounts. Really? Do you actually think that Ebony's going to come out and say, yeah, you're right, we should restore all these banned accounts? No. Stop banning accounts. Okay, I somewhat agree with that. I think that they're, overarching, they're jumping in. I've been the victim of this, banning accounts that are really just things that I'm working on, things that I'm actually, hustling around trying to get extra resources. I'm not selling them. I'm not, profiting from them. I'm not literally taking money out of their pocket, although they would argue I am. Stop banning accounts is kind of a slippery slope. I get what they're trying to do, and I think they're trying to preserve their revenue. They're trying to make more money, obviously. But at the same time, I think they're overarching. There needs to be something there that we could maybe change that demand differently and reword that to say something about, let's try to focus on those folks that are taking full advantage and taking money out of your pocket. When it's an individual, and even in that last dev call, they said, oh yeah, you can have one alt on the server if you want to utilize that. Well, we've tried that. We've had people sending resources from that one alt, and guess what? That alt got banned. So there's got to be somewhere in the middle where they can meet us halfway and say, okay, here's a process, or here's a way that you can have additional accounts on the same server, provided you're not selling the resources, provided you're not giving them to other people. How can they put a system in place that would allow that? I think that would be a better way to sort of approach that. And maybe these are all set up for shock value and they're planning on having a meeting and they want to talk through these in detail. Great. But the way they're worded, I just think is very inflammatory. So I would change a lot of these. Walk back the TOS. Again, I don't think we have control over the TOS. I don't know that it matters what's in the TOS. They're going to do what they want to do. And everybody that says I'm going to do a lawsuit, I'm going to do chargebacks. Chargebacks, great, go for it. I don't think you're going to be seen at from an Ebony standpoint. Your account will get taken at some point. They're not going to put up with that either. So do what you want there, but I don't think, again, you sign into the game, you're signing up for the TOS. I'm sorry to say, but that's just the way it works. If you don't like it, I guess maybe don't play. Easy as that. No more warnings. I don't know exactly what that means. I think that they're certainly going to be giving out warnings for main accounts for resource trading if they feel like it's something that's being done against the TOS. I think that's balled up in the TOS questions and the number of accounts and banning. So I think that's a bigger issue, a bigger subject. Better CS responses was number 5. Fully agree. I think we do get a lot of canned responses. I think that we don't really make progress. That said, I've been a part of a number of CS tickets that have gotten resolved. I've been a part of a number of tickets that have gotten resolved with things I don't think they really should be doing, but they are, people getting dragons from All Stars. I mean, there's a whole different issue in there. And I think that's the consistent behavior that they do as a CS group, consistently applying same rules for everybody across the servers, no matter your VIP, no matter, what your situation is, how much you complained, how nice or how mean you were to them, whatever. You should get a consistent response and in a timely manner. I fully agree with that. Let's try to, improve CS. And then fix the lag in All Stars and Challenge. Yes, this has been an ongoing thing, but I don't know how many of you have been here as long as I have, but I will tell you that lag has improved, as well as the number of servers has improved. So I think that they definitely released so many servers that they couldn't keep up with even the changes they were making to lag. So if we had this same number of servers that we had a year ago, that we do now with the code and the server side load balancing or whatever the fancy words are that they're doing to make things better, I guarantee you the game wouldn't be playable even for SVS. So I do think they consciously are trying. I don't know that they always think about you as a customer when it comes to All Stars, once every 6 months, challenge once every 6 months, that, They're thinking more about the day-to-day activity. And I would say on a daily basis, we don't have lag. Some people do get it in battlefields. There are client-side things. There's things in your environment that might be causing it. There's a whole host of things that really lag. I don't think that, lag is a demand necessarily, other than we need some improvements in those environments, which I think we've given examples. Again, in that dev call, you'll see we gave a bunch of examples of how they might address that. But so that is a long conversation about those demands. And so you would say, well, what do you think they should be? What are the demands? How do we get this resolved? I do think the main thing, and I do think this is something that they want to do, they're trying to push, and that's the reason they're putting these demands out there, is to get that quarterly meeting set up to provide that feedback. Get a regular cadence with Evony, with a respected group of representatives, and I say representatives that represent the entire community, free to play, small coiners, mid coiners, new players, old players, different perspectives I think are definitely important. But some sort of way that they can get consistent feedback. And that might just be getting more people involved in our communities, getting into some discords, actually utilizing the Discord they had originally set up that's turned into a cesspool. I mean, there's ways that they could be doing this and interacting with us on a regular basis, but unfortunately, what they've tried hasn't been working. So I think some way of coming up with that, I think that is really why I continue to support the Coining Strike, is because there is a need for some regular feedback and a need for legitimate CS issues to get resolved with people that are caught up in issues that, maybe Evony thinks they're, canceling a seller when in fact this person really just started sharing resources with somebody that's in their team because they were trying to get K40 finished, or, something like that. So, I mean, I think there are true issues that are getting lost in the cesspool of all the problems that many of us are creating with, certainly there's been a lot of abuses of different things that have caused them to go the other way. And I just think that extreme needs to be looked at, needs to be understood from their perspective. So that's Coining Strike for me. Keep going. Let's hope they actually, want to meet and go through some of the challenges that we're having. And I think there's a number of people in that group that actually can give a good perspective with everyone in mind. But you also got to remember, again, not everybody in there, the ones that are driving it are typically your heavy coiners. And I will say, I think that's part of the reason the demands were created the way they were, is because frankly, I think some of them got hit with some bans. Their team members got banned. A lot more bans have been going on. And so I think some more folks are getting more infected. So these, you can kind of see that in the demands and the way they were set up. I just think you really got to take a deep breath and try to get in there and actually make a difference in a positive way, as opposed to demanding things. We're not in really a position to demand. The only thing we can do is what you're doing, and that is deny them the money that they need to actually continue to grow the company. So I think what we're doing is the right thing. I just think the demands and the outcomes that we're looking for might be a little bit different than what's shown on those 6. So I think those need to be adjusted. But anyway, that's enough on that. Off the soapbox. All right, now this interview call, I don't know a lot about it other than some folks got as you logged in, you've got a request to join this special Facebook group. I'm actually already on that. I think that's how they got the dev call participants from the last dev call. There's a number of people on there. You have to get approved. It's a private Facebook. So I would encourage everyone to actually try to get into that Facebook, whether it's for this interview call or future calls or future information that you might get from Evony. I think there's some good information that they can share and they're willing to do at certain points that, get involved, try to listen to it. Do I think the COINSTRIKE folks should be involved? Yes, absolutely. I think that denying that information, whether you agree with what the information is or have even a way to talk about your issues during that interview, I'm not sure what's going to happen at that interview, if it's just going to be a canned interview that they're going to play for you and you can, respond in chats, or what you're going to have to do. But I would definitely encourage the Coining Strike folks to, take advantage of all the opportunities they've got to make those connections and contacts within Evony to try to get some information. But yeah, so I think hopefully I don't know if I'll definitely try to get involved in that one as well. And I would encourage all the other folks out here, all you hoes, you guys definitely, there's a number of you that would be helpful on that call to at least get the information firsthand so we can share it and also give perspectives if they're going to be giving us that opportunity to do it. So I would encourage everybody to get involved with that one as well. So. All right. Well, we are at the point, and I see I've got chat that Mr. Yours, I was talking to him the other night. I was on his channel, and this guy, I don't know how he does it, honestly. He's playing, he's doing Huns, he's got chat going, he responds to everyone, and I don't know what it is, but I can't actually keep up with all this stuff. I got music going, at least. I don't know if anybody can hear it, but it might be too loud. I don't spend. I fear that days sound good. Foxy, yeah. And honestly, some of my comments really are about Ebony, and I don't want to come across as being a lover of Ebony. They've certainly screwed me over out of I think I lost 44 alts a year and a half ago. Like, are you kidding me? I've been hit with so many things in this game, and they weren't alts that I was selling resources. They were, for our alliance, that kind of thing. But here's the deal. Everybody has had an experience, and I think it's all worthwhile, but I just think you got to step back and say, the last thing they want you to do is quit. They want you to get in there and spend more money, right? And the only way they're going to do that is by giving you better, no lag. They want to give you a battlefield that you can play. They want to give you really cool things that have really shiny buffs and ways to grind things so that you're spending time in the game. I mean, there's no way that that's not their business model. Have they implemented things correctly? No, not in all cases, but I think they're trying. So you can call me a Ebony lover. I don't mind. Yep. Total fanboy. I got it. Paid actor. Yep. Hey, I just need the contract. I'm a crisis actor. Yeah, you guys are good. See, I definitely knew you clowns would treat me this way. Duca is right. You can't sue China. That'd be difficult. That's the other thing. People want to say we're gonna create a lawsuit. What court? Somebody asked this in one of the discords. What court exactly would you? The Hague? I mean, what? Crimes against humanity? What are you talking about? Like, that is not going to happen. Just don't kid yourself. Yeah, continents should play different time slots from Sassy. You're right. That was a suggestion. We said, okay, elites, all those 3 levels should just play at different time slots, like a battlefield. And all of a sudden, you've cut your latency by 2/3. Like, that's such an easy fix. Now that I can go play my 2 other accounts across different servers and whoop up on all of you. But I mean, so what for the handful of people that are playing that many accounts and doing that kind of stuff? So what? Competition's better, and it's really what they want, to create more competition. So I actually think that's actually the easiest fix that they should do. All right. Not fair to crack down on alts now when there is already 200 or so K45s. The amount needed for 44 to 45 is insane. Over 100K if you're buying event packs. Flush Queens, very good point. I will tell you that I was disillusioned by the push to K45. I mean, I was ready. I got workshop to 43, and lo and behold, I get to do, this craziness. Oh, guess what? Now you got to get stables even before you get this thing to 44. I thought I just needed walls. Oh my God. So now I got to do stables. Guess what? I'm going to pop this up to 43, and I guarantee you that it's going to tell me I need to do arch and ground, because I know that now you need to get all the buildings for your troop buildings all the way up to 45. It's absolutely insane. And I think that's something we talked about on the dev call was the rewards didn't scale with the upgrade to 45, right? We got additional bosses, B19s and B18s, and we got Yimmer 6s and Pan 6s. Those things weren't as regular as they are now. That's another thing. Again, you have any fanboy here, they add it as a regular weekly thing. So another way they've done it. But again, if you add a little bit of scaling, a better scaling to that upper level troop type, we're all happier. We can grind it out. We can make meaningful advancement. Now, you're going to say, well, yeah, the whales don't need any help. They're buying things, but you're helping out all those folks that are trying to get K40 still. I mean, there's an awful lot of them out there. You've seen them in your alliances. They're all over. So, I mean, so what if you're giving a few more K45s to get finished up? But again, just that little bit of change in the bosses isn't going to all of a sudden overnight make hundreds of K45s. It's not that easy if you've done any research or pushing. Mako, yeah, the COC, I don't know. I didn't have as bad. I definitely had lag in COC, but it was like more like 10 restarts instead of 30 restarts during prelims. But yeah, the lag is definitely a thing. I don't know how to fix it. I do know it's in their best interest to fix it. I know they've seen it. I know they've tried, and they're, continually getting the feedback that their lag sucks, and we all tell them about it. And they all send out rewards. Just ask Good Girl. She can write you an email, and you can get about 30K speeds back after All Stars if you write an email like she does. So yeah, lots of that going on. Yeah, the consuming event never increased that. That didn't scale. It's still 20 billion resources spent. Again, I think the scaling part of it is just something they didn't really address when they released K245. And I don't want to ruin anything here for you guys, but I really hope that this experience interview invitation isn't to release K45. That's kind of what happened last time. Just saying. I know release K50. I'm not trying to ruin your day or anything, but it's very much a possibility. Yeah, Duke is right. Yep. Simultaneous battlefield, same time. Yeah, and again, it's just about the volume that they can handle at the same time. I think it's just not possible in some cases. But you'll notice, and I think everyone would agree with this: prelims, semis, and then finals all have a different lag, right? And that's just purely based on the number of people that are playing at the same time. Yep, lots of boobs. Hey, whatever works, man. All right, so if you guys want, I'm going to join this live streaming. And if you are listening and you want to get into the Hanging with the Hose, it's actually, I changed the name to Hang with Hefes because, those hoes, we're all hoes still, but you guys can certainly join. If you're not on the Hanging with the Hose or Hanging with Hefe Discord, send me a DM in Discord and I will send you an invite. I'm sure Mr. Yours could tell me how to put it into my chat, but actually maybe I can do that. I might be smarter than I think. Invite people. Copy. Can I do this? Am I smart enough? Yeah, did that work? Yeah, so if you guys want to join up, Hanging with the Hose, certainly hop on. I'm in the live stream channel. Now, if you guys are this is all going to be just me talking. I certainly, as you know, can talk for hours about absolutely nothing. You don't want me to sit here and listen to me, but I will say, if you guys get on here and you do want to do some talking, I'm happy to have you all talk. I certainly have, the ability to kick you off the Discord just as fast as you got on here. So be nice to everyone. I see Duka's joined. That's good. But try to give everybody a chance to talk. Make your points. We'll try to keep it moving along. We can sit around and hang out all night. I don't mind. I'm just having a drink and talking to you guys. So, Duka, how are you doing? Maybe he can't talk. So, and you guys can hop on there muted.
Yeah,
You can talk. You can talk. So, what did you think? Am I a fanboy? Am I working for Ebony now, and everybody hates me?
No,
It's okay if I do.
this COINSTRIKE, it's just we'll see where it goes, but definitely will be interesting now.
Yeah, don't you think? I mean, I think it's a good thing overall, but I think that
Yes.
it's just, and maybe this is just the idea in the beginning to shock value of the demands and try to get a response.
My biggest fear now is if, and this is a big if Ebony answer and set up a meeting, I don't know if all the people in this Discord group and all the people that started that are ready to really deal with all the demands and be organized and
Yeah.
and the demands should cover most of the player, not just the big whales or some continent, or I don't fucking know, but it should restore some fairness for free to play, whale, medium coiner, everyone, not just the big
Absolutely.
ones.
Absolutely. One of the things I was going to mention too, and I got Foxy Guy here too, my favorite number one fan, Foxy Guy, always here, always listening. How's it going, buddy? Good. You hanging in there? Are you still playing these days, or are you just hanging with us?
No, I'm on here and there.
All right.
Not as much as I used to.
Okay. Because I mean, I see you on the chats all the time, and I love it. I just wanted to make sure I could, once we were in a battlefield, we could.
I'm going to school now.
I know you're busy. Yeah. You got jobs and schools.
In like 20 minutes.
Oh shit. Well, you could have me on in your ear. I mean, come on. Be faithful.
I may do that.
Good. So what do you think? Do you think COINSTRIKE, dev calls, any thoughts from you?
I like the idea of the COINSTRIKE. How many people I think will participate? I find I don't think as many people that say they're going to participate are going to participate.
Yeah. Yep. Well, and I know as an
going to do it under the radar. So.
Well, yeah, you get a shiny thing there, and it's really difficult as those guys and gals that are, the biggest and the best, to sit there and watch it go away when they know next week it's not going to be available or it's going to be reduced or whatever. They're going to get nervous. And all I would tell those folks is you really aren't impacted as much as you think you are by skipping a few things for a while. You don't need it. You really don't. I mean, you're a team that destroys everyone. You're the big player that already does really well. I mean, if Duca doesn't get another pack for 5-6 months, some of us may get closer to catching up to him, but it's not happening. It doesn't matter that much. But I also know that
you don't have to worry.
exactly. Well, and one of the things I didn't talk about, this new feature, the military thing that they added. That's a prime example for me that how they actually implemented something that's grindable as well as purchasable. I think that, you getting things from activities, if you do all the activities and max your activities for the day, you get, what was it, like 5 and like 14 treatises and 5 fragments or something. That's actually pretty big if you go through and see what it takes. Now, it does scale up to a high level and you do have to grind for a long time. But the fact that you can get it within your activities, I think, is a huge thing for everyone. And there's some really good buffs in there. So I think they implemented those things right, and they're trying to at least involve the whole community now when they're releasing features.
And at the same time, it keeps you sucked in that you have to be online to do your activities.
See? That's what they want. I mean, it's a business.
Yeah. I don't blame them for that.
Yeah.
I just don't have the time to do it as much anymore. I get into the battlefields as much as I can, and I'll set up the little auto join thing, but that's about it. When I'm at work, I don't have time to mess around with it anymore.
That's the other thing that we didn't talk about. Auto join, for literally until today. In fact, I was planning on doing this stream, and I was going to get up here and show you how on 162, old Hefe, big fat 53 bill Hefe sitting over there, and he can auto join. But I'm sitting on 176. I can't auto join. Like, what? Why is a C1 server not up to speed with the rest of the world? Why is some different than others? I think that's one of the things that they need to do is really consistently implement all features across all servers, whether they're merged, pre-merged, new, they should be the same, be to give everybody the same opportunities. That's always been an issue.
Your old account can't auto join?
It can now. No, actually, literally my new account, just today they released it on 176.
Oh, okay. Because I have 48. I've had it for, I guess I just did the second month of it or whatever.
Yeah. And Mule, you are right. That is why people want to share their gift screenshots. I'll tell you a little secret though. I can give you the gift one from our, Alt Alliance. It looks really like we didn't do any spending. I mean, those things are easy to get around, and it does keep some people accountable. I do agree with that. What I would say is, and as an influencer, as the original Aptoid guy, I can tell you, if you want to see what happens when you guys are all spending, you just ask one of these big influencers, Baby Bear. You ask Genghis to see their catapult app statistics. They can tell you exactly when you're all spending. They can tell you the days that you're spending the most. They can tell you what events are actually the most popular and how much money is being spent. It's really easy for us to tell that. I don't have access to it anymore, but that's the one that we should be asking to get an insight to is how much spending is actually going on. And those folks can tell you. I don't think they're going to want to because they're not incented to, tell you how much everybody's spending because we're all supposed to be on a coining strike, and they're actually making money when you spend. So I don't think you're gonna get them to do it, but that could be something we could do. Let's see what else in chat. A few adjustments could really be changed. The vibe of the game has taken Civ frags, B18s and up, larger RSS tiles. Yep, true. Fix the lag. Omit those that have achieved top 200 and Wonder 3 for the rank. Yeah, that's another one. I think the one thing that I would say there, they've tried to do a little bit. They do that. Again, another fanboy comment. Foxy's going to rake me over the coals. But I mean, they do have the 1 week battlefield that, you can push person in that 1 week and get them into the top 100 or 200. They also have SVS in some cases. I think it's Ultimate SVS where you can get top 10 instead of top 5, So I think they're trying to do a few things. But if you're Ebony, you can't give everything away for free because I'm a whale and I'm going to be pissed if you have the same set of gears I just spent, thousands of dollars and you got it next week because you did some funky event that they do for free. So, I mean, there's a balance there. They've probably gone too far the other way. But I do think they're slowly trying to sneak in ways to grind things out. So
I've given up on that mission of the top 200 thing.
Have you?
I don't have time to play anymore, but yeah, I gave up. I'm not even.
You just have to get the hose or hanging and banging to play against you, and we'll help you.
The funny thing, I have a family member that has Wonder 3. But not me. Not my name.
Yeah, like Mule said, if you play the right team, they'll get it for you.
I never had the speed ups, and I don't spend anything anymore. So
yeah,
I just except for that monthly rally card thing.
What you have to do is get a bunch of people on your server to delete like troops, and then we might match.
There you go.
I'm sure you can get them to do that.
I don't think YV is going to be deleting anything.
Come on, YV doesn't need all those troops. Come on.
Although I think Psycho is actually bigger than him now.
Oh, was he? Okay. Yeah, even just putting the original Civ set into Cake 4 and making the Alliance boss chest optional instead of random would be wonderful. Yeah, I do agree that the randomness of that chess piece, I was a little sneaky about that. They give that. It is random, and that it does make it a lot tougher. But again, I guess I don't know how long it takes to get that. I haven't gotten one from there because I'm too lazy to run the Alliance boss. But it certainly takes some time to get one piece.
I think I've gotten 3, and I've gotten duplicates all 3 times.
Seriously?
Yep.
Oh my god. That would drive me crazy. Although then you can add your stars. Maybe they think they're helping you. Or no?
They think they are, but they're not.
Can you decompose those to fragment? I don't even remember. I guess you get them as fragments, don't you?
I did put a couple stars on some.
See, so it wasn't a total loss. Again, fanboy. I work for Ebony. I'm sorry to tell you. Nobody else wants to join the call. You're all chatting. You're making me read. I'm telling you what, I'm going to have to get Mr. Yours here to read for me. I just, depending on where you rank. Yeah.
We need Mako on.
Yeah, Mako, Mako, you can join. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, don't be shy.
He was asking when I was going to be on, so. Mr. Yours.
I turned the game on at work, and then I set the phone down on the desk and just leave the screen going. And plug in the charger, just let it join all the bosses all day.
See? It's perfect. No, the auto join thing is huge. And this idea, the other thing that I didn't really talk about, but this idea that, you know, games don't do what Ebony's doing, the third-party apps and such, and people have talked about Call of Duty, or I'm not even talking about Call of Duty and those type of games, but no game allows interaction with their games to change the features, right? I mean, they don't want things like auto aiming and all these other things happening in COD. Ebony doesn't, for different reasons, for revenue reasons. They don't want, you know, botting, and they don't want extra accounts and all that stuff. But I do think it's a very different model of a game. So I think there's somewhere in, like I said, in some people would be willing to spend a little bit of money. Thing we didn't talk about too was stamina. You know, it's still difficult to get stamina for even for your mains with a number of bosses teams are running these days. So there's definitely things they need to still improve on. And I think that we could add up, you know, make a pretty good list. The scaling for resources, the K45 requirements, you know, and somebody said, well, they've already got a lot of K45s. Well, I don't know, give them a pack, give them some sort of bonus that they had it. Or, you know how when they added all those new quests, I think it was in K40 released, and all of a sudden we all logged on and we were completed with all these quests, and we got a ton of new stuff as we got. Do you remember when they released that, Duca or Foxy? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
It's something like that, where like, okay, you're K45 now. Here's a bunch of quest items that we were going to give everybody as you went from 40 to 45. Now you can go ahead and claim all those. So effectively giving you the same quote unquote rewards. A way to do that to, you know, say, oh, you did already get 45 and we're adding all this stuff to help these other slackers that don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to drop on a weekly basis. I don't know. There's ways to do it.
All right, I gotta get to class.
All right, you get to class, buddy. Thanks for joining. Appreciate the insights, and we'll talk to you. Yeah, we'll talk to you. I can't believe nobody else wants to get on here and just yell at Duca or chat or. Don't be shy.
I can leave.
Yeah, we can all leave. Yeah.
Maybe if I leave, Ants will come back.
She might be nervous. Yeah. She might be nervous.
See you later.
See ya. 130 each week of the ranking alliance boss coins. 3,300 for a piece. That's 26 weeks in total. Okay, so that's quite the grind. Tyler was laying out the actual grind on the alliance boss, getting those. Like Foxy said, he got 3 pieces so far. Yeah, the Monarch competition daily events now scale based on keep level. Yep. Again, I don't think they think these things out. Oh, good girl sleeping. That's okay. You can stay in bed and just listen to our amazing discussion. Sus is waiting for Mime to get on here. Don't tell Mime to get on here and start yelling at everybody.
Oh yeah, you're still mad at me. Oh my God.
Wait, when were you supposed to rally him? This is in a battlefield?
Yeah, I was supposed to send a solo and I misclicked and send a rally.
Ah. That happens. Yeah, how do you misclick a rally? Let it fill and then send it. What a dink.
No, I forgot.
We'll do it next time.
Yes. Will be my pleasure.
Where's some of the old hoes? I don't see the old hoe gang out here chatting. Lion could be coming on, yelling at everybody. That old sumbitch. Anyway. Do you think they're gonna so I think I saw today on the COINSTRIKE Discord, they were voting on whether people think that they should send representation, and it looked like they were getting the yes vote, but because originally they were all saying no, they wanted to boycott it, and don't go for the first demand.
There was a poll on just asking
Poll.
who the couple invited leadership individual joined the call that
Yeah.
they scheduled recently, yes or no.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start with a yes, and let's start with
Yeah.
maybe a call, but we should have the agenda of the call way before the call starts.
I'm skeptical that it's going to be like previous dev call formats, though. That last one was a Zoom call. When they call it an interview, I'm worried they're going to have, Quinlan on there talking to a dev, and there's going to be no way to actually interact or have representation. I don't know, but I'm skeptical.
They don't want the call to be recorded. You remember last time? It was a very, very old one. We sing, and they were asking why people doesn't spend, and he was like, he explained, and he was streaming. They were like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck.
Yeah. I remember that. And I think Genghis had one too, where they didn't want him to publish that anymore, which I kind of get at the same time, and they want to have a frank discussion, but I think you said it before, I don't know that all those folks have the right perspective always. I think especially some of the folks that maybe created this COINSTRIKE, and again, I'm not banging on these guys. They put in a shit ton of work to try to get this thing off the ground. They got freaking 7,000 people on there. I mean, it's unbelievable.
That's huge.
It's absolutely huge. It's getting everybody together. I mean, that's what you want to do so that you do have a voice. But don't miss the opportunity and start to ask for things that just aren't possible. Restore all banned accounts. It is not going to happen. And maybe you put a few on there that aren't going to happen, and so you can get a few that you really want. I don't know what the strategy is, but I just feel like it's all very negative based on a bunch of accounts that got banned. And that's the reality. Yeah, Optimizer did a great job. He did a really nice job. There was another guy, I think it was Ebony Jesus. There was a couple of folks on there that did a nice job. Optimizer, very solid, understands the game, he's a very savvy CS guy as well. He's a great representative. And he's the kind of guy that would actually take information from a lot of folks and disseminate it by, and give everybody representation. So he's a really good one that I'd like to see on the call as well.
Exactly. Someone that to represent the most of us.
Yeah. Mako said requesting versus demands. That's it. That's a change in a little wording that I think helps. If you're in the U.S. and terrorists, we don't negotiate with demands from terrorists, right? That's kind of the same. They look at us as terrorists when we come at them. They just don't. Why would they change anything if you're yelling at them already? So, Mako, you're right there. There are a lot of influential folks in there, at least popular and big whale spenders. And they definitely have a perspective. I think it's in some cases a little bit narrow, but I don't know that those guys, given they're on, what are they on, C5, C6, and their K45, 100 billion, I don't feel too bad about their grind that they did, given where I'm at after 7 years. So I, take that for what it is, but I don't know that they've experienced some of those things like some of us have.
We have someone joining and get muted.
Oh,
My
Carlton.
bad. I'm switching between my computer and my.
Oh, awesome.
phone.
Welcome. Yes, Sus. I am not in the leadership chat. I am not. Actually, I don't even. Yeah. Nope, I'm not. How you doing, buddy?
How are you? It's been a long time.
It has. Yeah, we've been quiet. I saw your comment on Discord. We basically did kind of shut down after All Stars. It just kind of gets into a lull where it's just like this in between event and catching up, and so yeah, it's been a little quiet.
Yeah, I think it's the same for our alliance too. Basically, pretty quiet, just farming nonstop.
Yep, Boston and farming.
Yep.
So
Not
what?
even really paying attention to the BOCs for challenge either.
No, it's a sad fact. Is like in most cases you can lose and die a graceful death and still make it in. So I mean, just depends on your alliance and size and such. But
Yeah, we'll still make it in, but I attended like one maybe I'll attend tomorrow's BOC. So 2 out of the 4, and we're still ranked like top 100, I think. I don't know what the cutoff is. Maybe it's 64. I don't know what the cutoff is.
yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the coining strike or dev calls or any feedback you want to share?
I think all the bigs should coin strike so all the smalls can catch up.
Yep. Are you afraid of that? They're all going to catch up to you.
No.
See,
I'm not a big.
You're big enough. You're big enough.
No, I'm not. I don't even. I'm still trying to unlock my last T15.
Hey, you're doing well. There's a lot of people who don't have any of those open. So
Yeah. Compared to people at T16 already, it's night and day. But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, COINSTRIKE makes sense if you guys are trying to get changes to happen with the game. I don't know what the outcome is going to be, but
yeah. No, you're right, Evany. With GOT, I think that's X-Wing, huh? No, I think that's X-Wing. Yes, you are right. Smalls are not catching up. They're not doing anything, and nor can they actually implement a grindable thing that's going to catch anyone up to the levels of the whales. I'm not disillusioned about that at all. But
that's not what I meant.
No.
What I meant is if the whales stop spending, and some of the smalls keep spending, or medium keep spending, then there's maybe a little bit of time where they can catch up.
Yeah. No, even that is a little bit, and I'm going to use the word, it's not a negative, not to pick on you, but it's it's a little naive because they have so much Civ gear, they have so many Senate maxed, they have, every seal open. Those things, some of those things aren't attainable for the grinder, the free to plays, but you're right. If people start spending, there are things that people are going to do to catch up. It's just, and I think catch up maybe is the right word because I don't think you're saying they're going to be equals to the whales. So you're exactly right. You're exactly right.
Not in any sense of the term.
Yeah.
There's no, even for my keep, there's no amount that I could or would spend to get up to like keep 45 and
Yeah. No, so you're right. You're absolutely right. I didn't mean to bang on you with that, but. Fletcher, Catherine, how are you doing? Says totally different from C1 when it first came out. New updates and events went through the beta first. Now C5, C6 have players twice the size and packs fuller. Yeah, there is a lot of discrepancies on new servers and what they get out of the gate. And the idea they have is, well, let's try to, give them a fresh start so they can catch up. But the irony is they don't match with us for all stars. They don't match with us for challenge. They don't, so why do they get something different? If you're going to do that, just put it across all the servers. Frankly, it would be easier for them to keep everyone consistent, right? As an IT release happens, you're banging it out to every server. Why make it more difficult on yourself to try to keep things different? I think, even example of this auto joining. Like I said, 176 just got it today. 162 got it when they merged. What was it, a month or two ago now? And so I'm sure they're just rolling through changes, but yes, Mako, you're right. K41 to 44 is less expensive than 44 to 45. Absolutely. On a total resource and speed level, yes.
Maybe not if you include all the T15s.
No, certainly not. No, if you're talking about just keep and doing a keep pushes, which I started doing after I got this new account, I got it 41 to 44. I haven't even done rally spot. It's still 41. I'm really focused just on getting 45. It's that big, but man, it's depressing when you have to wait this long. Chris and I are racing at a snail's pace. Oh, don't kid yourself. It's that race is a terrible race. We look like a couple of 80-year-olds walking down the street with canes trying to get on this race. Yeah.
And you can't fucking make any troop because you have to hold all that shit.
Yeah.
Just push buildings.
Oh no, I'm 28.5 billion. It's like somehow I squeaked by in the last All-Stars and made it into finals, but I don't know if I could do that twice in a row. So I feel like I'm just so tiny. So tiny.
You are.
Just a little guy. Run out of troops all the time. I'm sending T9s in Battlefield. It gets embarrassing. But I keep saying I'm going to start making troops, then everybody yells at me. So. A lot of peer pressure.
Keep 44 is almost like a big stopping point because it takes so long to finish.
Yeah. And it's a really good stopping point, honestly. But, if you're pushing just to push for military academy, I think that's the way to go, honestly. But the tax scrolls are definitely a hindrance, much like gold was. But even that's starting to get a little bit better. Things like the fish lady, we call them fish ladies. I don't know, agalopes. Not a huge number, but if you grind them out, you can get quite a few tax scrolls for your alliance. We're pretty dogged when those things come out. But yeah, it's all these grindable things that they need to add to quote unquote free to play that even those that are just trying to level up have access to as well, that don't have to buy a pack. And frankly, if you look at the number of packs and the types of packs, it's so difficult unless it's in the event pack, which is really nice. They did that with the military thing last event. I don't think they're going to keep it in there. I think it'll be like a Covenant Stone pack, like they did with the Covenant Stone pack. I bet you they'll swap that out into its own pack. So at that point, you got to make choices, right? It's difficult. It's really difficult. Yeah, Mako's right. I think back to the point about adding more resources and scaling the bosses allows you to get more K40s done. So people start popping the T15s. They're actually attainable, because those are not attainable for most people. Try to get your siege open if you aren't a main rally setter in your team and you're not focused on that. That is similar to a push for a whale to get to K45. I mean, that is a really long process to get those siege open. So if you gave them some help, you're in effect giving that same person going from 44 to 45 a help. So resource scaling, I think, on boss drops is a big issue that should be raised as far as the COINSTRIKE goes. Yeah, LT I do as well. Mako. It's a Mako shark. I mean, what are you going to do? He knows. Yeah, Good Girl says 44 is doable. She got to 44. She doesn't have her military 9 done yet, but the fact is, pushing that keep isn't the problem. It's the tax scrolls. It's all those things you need to do to get the research open. So I think more help on the tax scrolls would help. But what has tax scrolls these days? Pans, big bosses, event bosses, maybe the big event bosses, or random drops. I don't know. I can't remember all the things, but yeah, safe resources could be a good option. Again, you can't, trade them. I often said they should add a 5th resource type, as they release a new keep. So guess what? Day 1, I can't push all the way to K40 like I did in the first day, because I don't have that 5th resource type that they added. So add something new as you do a level push, and some are going to complain, oh my god, then I gotta farm that now, and I gotta do that many more bosses. But the point is, they don't care how many levels they add. They just want to keep you interested in purchasing things and newfangled things. They don't really care what level the keeps are, how big your buffs are. They just want to find things to spend money on. Well, it might be that 5th resource that they add, or that reagent that now you have to build up, and you couldn't have been sitting back for the last 6 months getting all the resources. Like, why? I think that's what they're afraid of when they release these things. It's okay, now that K45, that mega spender, day 1 already saved up, and you even see it. You see some of these keeps for sale, and I giggle a little bit, but I'm a K45. I got all the T16s open. I've got extra art treasures. I've got extra resources. I got extra, what do you call them? The Civ treasures. I got all these extra things so that as they add the updates, you're just going to get them day 1. Well, I think that's the problem, honestly. I think they should stop giving the Monarch gear when you're maxed, so that you can't, when they release day 1, you're Monarch 50 now. Like, there's no reason to keep giving you rewards when you can't use them. And you can't share them now with friends either. So it kind of does 2 things, and that maybe is too much for them to code into it, but no spending. Yeah, good girl. You can't buy it. We're COINSTRIKE. But yeah, I think
how long it will go on strike. Depends how long.
Yeah. Well, and I was banging on it too. At first, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a COINSTRIKE," and then we got a new event, and now I think we'll do it the 16th. Just because we want to make sure we get everything organized. It's like, okay, well, guess what? I'm just COINSTRIKing, so not everyone's gonna do it on day 1. So I just call it a COINSTRIKE. Like, let's just COINSTRIKE and COINSTRIKE as much as you can. I'll be interested to see what they release in this next event. And the other thing is, things like pumpkins are coming up. Maybe they need to get neons back regularly, like they have, pans, and maybe do every 3-week rotation, pans, neons, yimmers. Let's just get more of those specialty bosses, because Monday, Tuesday show up after Hydras, and Wednesday's here. Wednesday is dead. There's no bosses on the map. Yeah, you can still send Monarch gear. I just meant it. Well, I mean, they can send it, but they don't give you as many mails, I think, is the issue. Not as many people get mails unless you're buying packs. I'm missing something here. I don't know why you guys don't just join the Discord and get on the call. You won't have to type. Yeah, good girl. It's gonna be like a siege arch mixed historic city with free tax scrolls or something every week if you just
And with World Gen with Covenant.
wall gen with Covenant and an assistant. And everybody's gonna be sweating. It's gonna be like that meme where the guy just can't do it. He just can't not buy it. Oh, here's another comment. It was so funny. Is all the, what do you call them? The what are the general tokens that? Oh my gosh, historic. Ugh. I'm so bad. I need to open up boxes. What am I looking for here? Oh, yeah, these things. The Epic Historic General. 237 of those. I guarantee they come out with a new wall general. I don't have to spend any money. I'm getting it. Right?
Same.
The whales get these things no matter the coin strike or not. So don't feel bad when that comes out. It's the average spender that does the one-time cake 10 to get that general that's screwed. So those are the people that actually are suffering. Don't feel bad for any whale that there's a coin strike. There's just it doesn't compute for them the same way it does for most people. So don't feel bad. Well, nobody ever feels bad for me. You're also mean to me, but so yeah, Duca and I are getting it if it comes out. I can't wait to show you guys how great it is. Total hoarder. It's true. I do hoard. I love seeing this. I'd love. Way to go, Muff. Muff's finally putting some work in today.
Okay. He's running like that.
He's got things to do. People to see.
Hefe, you said you had a Keep 41. Did you get rid of your old account?
No, I don't have a Keep 41. I got a bunch of 35s, a couple of 28s. No, I only have. I still have my account on 162. It's, the 63 bill K44. It's much further behind on generals, and research is further behind. What's that?
What was the one you were trying to get to Keep 45 quickly?
This one that I'm on now. See, like my rally spot's 41.
I'm not looking at your screen.
Oh, yeah, my rally spot's 41. Even which is kind of silly because it's not all that expensive, but my victory column's only level 8.
Different server?
God.
Yeah, different server. 176. Yeah. Yeah, I moved over here. We just we had a bunch of people quit over on 162, and our rally team got really small, and people were, taking long breaks from the game, and HMB found something for me to play on, so I'm rolling over here now. But I still go back there. I was actually played a battlefield with them a couple weeks back. I'm going to try to do more. I missed the throne this weekend. I was going to help them with that, but I wasn't home, so still.
You saved the runs.
I feel like it's hard to recruit when they labeled all the servers full.
Yeah.
It's something that sucks.
Yeah. How you doing, Cleopatra? Cleopatra joined us here. Server 190, right? Am I got that right? Maybe she can't talk, but she's on. Oh, there she unmuted. How are you?
Hey, Hefe.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Want to share your thoughts on the dev call, or you want to yell at Hefe, or you want to do anything? Tell us.
I never yell at you. We're just actually against you in BOG about a month ago. Yeah, it was definitely a different team.
Oh, on 162.
Yeah.
I missed it. That's right.
You did, yeah. I messaged you, but it was definitely a different game, different group of people. It wasn't as chaotic.
Did they win?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
They beat you. Turkeys. That's good. Well, they actually got a merge, so they, I would say over the last couple.
After the merge.
Right after the merge. Oh, okay. Okay. And I don't think everybody was actually in the alliance at that point. I know Lion was still getting people added, and they had just been added. So yeah, they're going to be good. They've got a good solid crew, and they're starting to grow and figure things out. I think some of the folks weren't as far along on the rallying and the coordination that I think the Hose had for a while now. So they're catching up. It's going to be fun to see them. I'm hoping to help them out. They've got Docs, old school Docs. Some of you might remember Docs back in All-Star 1 and 2. I think I was in All-Star 2 with Docs. Him and I are sitting there just big fat K52 or K40. Actually, he's a K42, but 50 bill guys just sitting in that alliance. But he's actually playing now too, so he's also, I think it's a different Docs, but the other Docs on I think 164 with Hot. But I don't know if he owns both keeps or what, but so yeah, any thoughts on the COINSTRIKE, Cleopatra?
It's definitely more organized than all the ones that we had prior.
Mhm.
I think. If it can, I'm for it. If it can help, if it can do something, then I'm all for it.
Yep. No, I agree. I think the organization is there. The volume of people is there to get something done. You're obviously, if you're on that Discord, you'll see that it gets a little chaotic at times. But they're trying to keep everything updated, and the leadership looks to be doing a good job to get everybody organized and trying to go in the right direction. I do think the main thing is the coining strike. It's really the only thing that we have control over is our own wallets to make them at least stop and listen. So I'm with you.
I think the ones prior they had, because this isn't the first one. There's been so many prior.
Yeah.
That I think it gave people, people like, okay, we're going to do this. And I actually did for, I think the last one, I did strike a bit, but I think it kind of, and I'm not saying all people, but I know for some people, it's like, oh, wait a second, this is the time now where maybe some of the bigger coiners take a break, but then you get the other, people that are like, well, this is my chance now. I can just coin, and you can definitely get, you don't get a whole lot further, but you can get all that stuff done.
Yeah, we were talking earlier about free to play to catch up, and we know it's not a real catch up thing. They can advance, maybe is a better way to put that. But there's definitely a level of spending that can catch up a little bit, can close the gap a little bit. Some could argue that closing the gap from 3,500 buffs to 4,500 buffs maybe doesn't really matter, but you're absolutely right. I think there are people that are going to take advantage of getting a cheaper sub, quote unquote, for the historic sub, event or special keep. I think there's going to be some of those things that are going to break some people though, and they won't want to bypass like we were talking earlier. So no, I agree. I think this one, they're trying to have accountability. It's difficult to do still. It's not going to be perfect, but at least they're trying. I'd encourage all of them to get on their streams, show their keeps, show their Kings event, provide a good example for everybody. I think that stuff can help because I do think the influencers are the ones that, have a lot of viewers and regular people, and a lot of people are watching Vidge and RSP and Hot and all those guys. They really are the ones that, can walk the walk and say, here, just look at all these keeps. I'll log in and show you. Nobody's doing anything. And this is the last day of the event, and we still haven't spent anything. So, yeah. It's not his chair. Good girl.
This was just more organized.
Yeah.
Than the other ones. And people seem to be more responsive.
Yep. No, and I think they got a number of people. I think Sus was in here. I don't know Sus. Do I know you, Sus? I don't know. You can friend me after and explain. I don't know. I'm certainly willing to help. There's not much I can do. I think they got the right people there. I think I can share my opinions here, and again, I just hope that people stick to the coining strike and they see it. I know they will if enough big, large spenders do. They'll be like, oh, wait a minute. Why didn't this event work? Why didn't we make as much on this one? Because sometimes they might just say, My fear is that we do the coining strike right now and there's nothing, literally, if you're a whale spender or a spender, you're not spending right now anyway, because there's nothing to really gain. You're not even really spending next weekend in some cases, or this weekend coming up. You're going to spend on Friday to try to win that historic sub, to get the rewards, use your doubles and triples, and if you can get an extra sub for the event, great. But there's just patterns that people spend on. And so if we don't keep the coining strike going long enough, and I think it was said in the chat here, we haven't really gotten a benchmark for when is enough. Like, when do we say, can we give everybody a deadline to say, okay, we want you to participate in the coining strike. You've only got to do it for the next 3 weeks or whatever that time frame is. At least then you can say to yourself, okay, I think I can stop for 3 weeks. I know I'm missing out on some things and some people are still going to do it, but at least there's a horizon, as opposed to this endless coin strike that people are just going to slowly fall off. And then all of a sudden you lost your momentum and you lost your effectiveness because, Cleopatra decided, it's long enough for me. And the next couple of days, I saw Cleo bought that new thing and I think I'm going to buy that now. And so if I don't have something to look forward to or a plan, I might fall off the bandwagon quicker than. So I do think that Mako's right there. I think setting a schedule or giving some sort of time frame is important.
I agree with you 100%.
And 3 weeks won't be enough. You're right.
No, it won't.
No, it just doesn't, because that is X-Wing. I thought it was. I think that folks need to look at this as a long-term thing. And frankly, whales can just, if you're buying, I guess I can't even think of something a whale would need to buy on a daily basis to keep going. They got enough stamina. They got enough everything. This is really speaking to those that are maybe not as big as spenders, but, a Cake 5, Cake 4 spender, trying to get a little bit more Civ gear, whatever. Those are the ones that are going to be the hardest ones to ask not to spend, in my opinion. Because to your point, you guys made this point earlier, was they're trying to catch up a little and that's the opportunity they have once every month or couple of weeks that they, saved up a little money and they want to put it into the game. So I think those folks are going to have a harder time not spending, but we'll support them somehow.
I agree. And we have people in my alliance that are at that. That's kind of what they do. They're that level 4, level 5, usually around the 4, because they do want to get that here and stuff.
Yep.
And I think I agree with you. I think for them just to say, hey, we're gonna do this for 2 months, or, because I agree, 3 weeks is definitely not long enough.
Yep.
I think for them it would definitely be harder, and they might not want to agree to the strike, because I have enough speed ups. I think most bigger coiners have all of the other stuff.
Yep.
That the medium to smaller ones don't, and use that. And especially now that we have the Ebony has the bot now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're spending that. If you leave your phone on, you're spending that stamina at an alarming rate if you have an active alliance.
Yep. Oh yeah. Which I think most people do. They've migrated into larger alliances on each server, and or at least a couple of alliances, and they're all running bosses and competing like we are on 176 a little bit. We're still competing with a couple of, but we're definitely winning that race. But
I noticed that even the people in my alliance, they're a lot more active since the bot came. Just to make sure that your friends like, oh, don't worry, I'm going to be on. I'm going to run these bosses for the next couple hours, and then I'll be on when you're sleeping. You know what I mean? And our alliance is not getting more active.
Oh yeah. Planning around when we're going to be running bosses, so you can you crack your stamina open for the auto join. Make sure you've got it going then, and yeah, for sure, there's more coordination, more buzz going on. And gems for stamina, like X-Wing. I don't believe you actually have to use gems for stamina, but I'll go with it. Yeah, definitely spinning the wheel. And black market to pick up additional stamina's huge. And no Aptoid codes. Yeah, that I was a little disappointed in Aptoid. And as you guys know, I'm not repping them anymore, so I can speak ill will about them. They still have a great product and everything, but putting out a couple of COINSTRIKE codes, I think, was a little bit of a slap in the face. You know, do your spending now before the COINSTRIKE. I think that sent the wrong message, and that was back to my original point. Is like the COINSTRIKE should have started day one and not been on a schedule. And if you can't afford to do it, or you had something you want to finish out, sure, set a date for when it starts. But it's on everybody to just, you know, be responsible and try to do their part and not spend. But anyway, it's not a huge deal, but I didn't like that.
I agree with you.
Yeah, good girl on the coining. Some of those COINSTRIKE demands aren't possible. Yeah, we talked about that. Like get your alts back. Yeah, and Aptoid not working now. I know there's a workaround, which is very complex, but I did verify that workaround doesn't actually work on devices like a phone or a tablet because of the way they're working around it. So any of you folks that don't have a PC or an emulator, you're kind of SOL on the Aptoid thing if you don't have an existing phone that didn't get upgraded, unfortunately. I was going to do a stream on that, but then I get lazy with these things. But, there's a lot of other ways besides Aptoid that you can try to get some savings. I think Aptoid was the reason I repped them beginning with, was I thought it was the best and I thought it was going to be a long-term thing. But I don't think, frankly, everybody understands how that all went down too. I think some people think Evany, well, I'm not going to get into details, but there was a lot of things going on that behind the scenes that weren't really, it wasn't all Evany's fault and it wasn't all Aptoid's fault. Let's just say that they couldn't come to an agreement. People weren't making enough money on either side. And if you look at it from Evany's standpoint, all these other wallets that are being used, they weren't really incented to give Aptoid money. Why have them there? Other than, encouraging more spending, they didn't have a big enough percentage of the market. They didn't have enough saturation. They did certainly with the folks that spent a lot of money. And I think that made up for it. But when you look at the number of people actually spending money in Evany, they didn't have a saturation of, Aptoid use versus, say, Google or PayPal or other things that people are using to save money as well. So now they're gone. And Aptoid still continues to work if you have a working emulator.
It's the time to say to people that are using BlueStack or Memu, you can back up your instances and fucking do it.
Yes.
The one that is running Aptoid.
Yeah, make a couple copies. Make sure you do shut off that auto update on your Google account. But you definitely, like Duke said, you can just make a duplicate copy, and if yours gets corrupt, you just start up the other one.
Mm-hmm.
But as Duca, it's easier for me to set all those up and manage those. But there's a lot of folks that's the only reason they ever tried to set it up. And they don't know to do those things. So that's actually a good advice for everybody.
Yes. Okay, guys.
Tech talk with Duca. You going to bed?
Yeah.
All right. I thought we were going to do tech talk or something. Maybe not.
No.
All right, buddy. Hey, thanks for joining. And I know. Yeah. Thanks for joining and making the stream so colorful. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.
We'll see you, buddy. Yep.
Have a good one.
Yep. Good night.
Bye. Bye.
Let's see. What else did I miss on the chats?
I noticed that when I logged in, I I had just gotten home. You guys were talking about the experience interview invitation.
Yeah.
Is that I kind of logged in right when you were talking about that.
Mhm.
It's I have a feeling I kind of agree with what you were saying, that it's just going to be an interview and we're kind of just be listening. Or I hope it'd be more like, one of the developer calls.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
those
the
aren't
big
always
unknown.
fun.
That's the big unknown for me. Is the interview going to be with some devs or executives that's going to explain all this new great things they're going to add later, and everybody's going to want to be sitting there bitching about lag and more resources and load balancing and all these things, but they're just going to want to be touting the marketing and telling us about things to look forward to. I just don't know at this point.
Okay, so we don't really have an idea of what, because I got that email and I thought, well, do I bother?
Yeah, I think that's just it. Is do we bother? And some folks I do think strongly that the Discord leadership should provide somebody there, and if they can get into that, frankly, I think they have to get into that special Facebook. Many of them probably are. Some of them might not be, but I'd encourage them to get in there and start posting things there, talking to Elena, getting, trying to get on somebody's radar to say, hey, we're really serious about this. We're going to participate in the interview. We hope to get some good information, but here's what we'd like to do. And that's, we'd like to do a dev call, is sit down with some selected leadership and try to get this resolved. We think it's going to help you and help us as player community, sort of, as opposed to here's our demands and we're not participating. I just think that's not the right attitude.
I agree. I'm gonna have to pop off. Thanks for having me on, even just
appreciate you joining and adding color to the otherwise monotonous voice of El Hefe. So thanks for joining in.
Okay, thanks, Hefe.
See ya. Yeah, X-Wing, I hear you. That understandable. I appreciate the perspective because, I do think it is important that you represent the community and their needs and what they're looking to do. And certainly as a leadership team, you're not going to want to represent something different than they do. And as you've seen a lot of streamers give their opinions. I'm not going to go through the list because I'll forget a few, but I've seen a number of them, and their reactions are, it's not going to work, and we're, whatever, people do what they want. And then there's some that are like all in, and some that are just like, nah, it's just going to fail like the rest of them. I'm skeptical that it's going to work in the current state, but at the same time, the opportunity is there. I just think, like I said a couple of times now, the number of people that they have together, because think back to the line group. We used to have like 500 of your closest line group friends were in a Discord, or in a line group together. Now with the advent of the people moving into Discord, we were able to get more people together, and you see that on the C5 server, on your Discord, and on all the C level Discords. I frankly think we should just have one, but and maybe that's the plan. Maybe the plan is to rename this COINSTRIKE when it's all done to Ebony Community Server, and we. I'm not naive to think that the folks that are some of the leadership wants to use this as a platform for future work, which I fully appreciate, and I actually think it is a good opportunity to do that, and I would take full advantage of it, because you got so many people together that in one Discord. I think that's the ideal thing to do. As you know, sometimes those things turn into a cesspool, and the information gets lost in a lot of drama, which is what the Ebony one turned into, because it's not managed anymore. So if you can get enough people to continue to provide good information and good management, I think that it's going to be a good thing overall for the community. But I'm all for it, man. So I think that I'm going to continue to push everybody to do it, and try to make a difference for the community. Yeah, the pigeon mail line group. Yeah, Mako's right. That the Discord itself and the advent of people actually crossing over and starting to use Discord has been real helpful. You're finally seeing it on All Stars. People aren't creating line groups anymore for All Star teams. We got Discord groups, which is much better, in my opinion. Well, I don't know. I don't have a whole lot else to pontificate about or to explain. I really appreciate everybody joining the chat and participating on that end, as well as those that join the call. We'll try to do more hanging with Hefe calls, hanging with the hose going forward. I think I just have been at the point where there's not topics that I think are hanging. Maybe we just hang out. We'll just talk about each other's feelings, but that's always fun too. So we'll try to make this a little bit more regular. We certainly got a good group of people, and there's a reason I haven't in the past just spammed this out to made it public or everybody and their brother, because frankly, I didn't want it to turn into, the next cheese ball Discord that everybody spams their favorite memes. And I wanted to hopefully keep it as a smaller group that, invites and such, but I think it is time to have more people's opinions, and certainly we can continue to do that here on hanging with the hose, hanging with Hefe. I do appreciate all the other groups that are out there. I don't have time to keep up with all of them, but certainly if you guys got ideas you want to talk about, we can put together streams, and I'd rather do it in this format instead of Discord events, but I know that's becoming popular too. So ideas, if you want, send me a friend request. We can talk about ideas for other streams or topics you want to talk about, or just hanging out. Maybe we want to go through. I used to do more videos and stuff. I know there's so many of those guys that are doing and gals that are doing those. I'd just rather they can spend the time doing that. I like the live stream and the battlefields and such, but happy to go through topics like that too, how to do things. Where are things at? Keep reviews. We've done those in the past. So yeah, starting to get back in the swing of things and have more fun with it again. So happy to do more of this if we got interest. Sledge, yeah. March size. I know it's sad for many people, but here, you just follow my logic. If I update my rally spot, which would be very easy to do, if I update my rally spot, what do I have to do? I got to make more troops, or I'm going to be dusty after like freaking 3 rallies or 4 rallies. So like, if I up my rally spot, I suppose you could argue I could just reduce my troops that I add into each of the March presets, but I don't know. Just for now, it just doesn't make sense to update. I can let Duca do all the solos. He gets all the ground. So although I did win a SVS in the last minute and a half, come on now, I'm going to show this. Where did it go? So this guy was bouncing around. So my little March size here, he was bouncing around T1 trappish. Well, he wasn't really a T1 trap, not a very good one, but he was hitting bosses at the end of SVS, right? One of those guys, and he thought nobody was watching, right? Bounces back. He kept bouncing back and forth, never dropped bubble. Drops bubble on our server, goes home, sits there thinking, oh, SVS is done in a minute. Who would come over? Well, guess what? Hefe came over. We won SVS by like 300 million. A lot of fun. So, yeah. All right, I had to show it. But yeah, lots of fun. So yeah, let's think about another topic. Maybe we can do one next week even. So yeah, back to the March size. I'm not doing the March size for now. Just can't do it. I can't justify it. You can see these resources at the top. I got to open boxes and do things and start building up, but it's gonna happen. I just it just doesn't fit into my spreadsheet right now. And if you know me, you know my spreadsheets are very important. So yeah. Anyway, all right. I'm gonna let you guys go. Appreciate everybody tuning in, joining in on the chat, like I said, as well as the voice call. Glad those all the new joiners that joined in. Missed you, Mr. Yours. You should have hopped on here. Love to hear you. Your thoughts on this as well. I was happy to hear your stream a couple days ago that you did. It was a nice job on explaining your thoughts and ideas as you were playing the Huns there. So yeah, hook me up with some Huns too. Maybe I'll join you if I got some time. So anyway, I'm going to sign off here, guys. I appreciate all the info, and certainly as we get more information, we'll put it out and try to talk about it here and just share your feelings. So anyway, we'll see you on the next stream.
Sorry I had to dip out towards the end. But...